the lives of our children and the education of them are in their hands. And so we appreciate the stewardship of them. And just thank you for the impact that you made. Thank you also to our police and police responders as well. And want to keep this safe. And thank you for children safe. So also the chief of Commerce and IBC and Allen College. He's making huge impact on the business, the community, and as well as impacting our kids as well. So, yeah, I think the first thing I was talking about why the local elections are important, and I would argue that local elections could be even more important than national elections. And it's a shame that they don't get higher voting now. But as we saw in 2020, the local elections, these are local elections were made on business in some ways. So I'm super grateful to do business, when people in the city of Dallas dealing with all sorts of things that business not being able to operate, and we never missed a beat. And so super grateful to all the people in the government for making that possible. That's just one main thing that shows just the power of the local government. In so many little ways, all the different decisions that affect us, that people don't know even about. And so, also when we talk just a few minutes about what the business of what's important to us. And I'll say first is limiting regulation, minimizing the cost. We have a unique opportunity here. Even Dallas Fort is the place to be in the country. I mean, highlighted by the stock exchange moving here, that is a massive opportunity for us, opportunity for Allen and Fairview to capitalize. And, in partnership with Allen, you guys incentivize we give about this, we give about plans, let's bring it down. That's of course in the business of the so, that does understand that property taxes are, all the safety grounds. But you can work pretty well, I think more than that. It's about just operating efficiently. Soon as you want about partnership and what's going on with government and the impact that we're just having. The reality is the government should not be a small business in its efficiency. And so that's what I would encourage is be as efficient and steward by all that we trust to do as much as possible. Encourage innovation through innovating, we can use more companies here now as well. And so really design the environment that's friendly for all types of different businesses that we can collaborate and be innovative. Next is continue to invest in development, skill trades. This is, in part why I love the chief and Steve College. And Allen is the not just but I want to give all of you people the impact you're making. I feel like we lead the way in workforce development and skill trades training here in Allen ISD has made a huge strides. Just an example for others and so give you guys a little applause for that. I think it's important that we bring the benefit that every student needs to go to college and take on student to do so and earning their needs that most likely not going to use. And so, Allen is helping reshape this mindset to the students and developing and showing people, hey, you can make a living right out of college and they are doing the living without necessarily take on college. College isn't for everybody, it's a great experience, a lot of fun. It's not necessary. When I grew up, it was expected that everybody would go to college, and that was the narrative that was sold. And I just think that that's incorrect. We have people come in straight and go for it, making $40 while and they don't have a huge from their student every month. So, we want to protect our local businesses and limit the impact we got to the I think one of the ones to come about is transparency. So, is the ability for us to be transparent and how money is being stewarded, and just be as transparent as possible so that people, clarity creates trust, and trust is what allows us to thrive. And so just be completely transparent and not follow the race in the city of Dallas and make it stand what nobody would Dallas. But I think that we have an opportunity to just lead the way and be transparent with money is stewarded. So that's all we really have today. I just want to thank you guys again for your service. I really appreciate you. Okay, thank you, Lance. Okay, so now that we've kind of explained how the panels are going to work, first I'll introduce Jimmy Kahn, who will moderate a couple of panels with local candidates for the city of Allen and the town of Fairview. All of them are running unopposed, so that should keep things pretty courteous and cordial. And then we'll save the spice for later on in the ISD races, which will be moderated by Lynn Witcher with Kennedy 7. So one of the things that we do ask of all candidates, we have several different races to kind of work through this morning. So we ask you to, if you want to hear from people, learn about your vision, your plans, but you can try to be as concise as possible to be respectful. Okay, so I will go ahead and hand things over to Shameen Khan with Meridian Wealth, and she will moderate our next two panels. Please join me in welcoming Shameen to the stage.
Thank you, everyone. Good morning. My name is Shameen Khan. I'm a wealth management advisor with Meridian Wealth. I also chair our chamber's business advocacy committee. So we'll actually start with the city of Allen. Will Mayor Pro Tem Ben Trahan and the Baby Not join me on the stage? Yes. Yeah. Thank you both for being here today. I know voting through our unopposed, but it's important and valuable for local businesses and community leaders to hear from you. So each of you introduce yourself 30 seconds or less. 30 seconds or less.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. My name is Amy Knott. My husband and I moved here in 2008 from Kansas City, home of the Kansas City Chiefs. But I am a North Texas girl. I was born and raised in Arlington. I went to school at UTA. I have a degree in civil engineering. I work for a large insurance company, and I set policy for general liability insurance coverages. I know for those that know me, they're surprised that I even have policy into my job function every day. Just joking, because I do love policy. I'm very pleased to be able to have the opportunity to continue my service with the city of Allen in a low capacity, and I'm looking forward to it.
Morning, Ben Trahan. Glad that we've all had our eggs, now we can get down to the issues for this breakfast. Current Mayor Pro Tem, and hopefully I'm doing a good job that our city council will put me back in there. I'm glad to welcome Amy to the council up in May. Almost 20-year residents of Allen in Texas, and recently bought a pair of boots, so I think it's official now. I can be a Texan. So I want to committees appointed by the mayor, get to work with Councilman Barry, Clemens Ditch, and Schaefer, who I've seen here. So everything I'm going to talk about, I'm learning from them and city staff, who is represented well in the corner. That'll be.
We can pick one.
First question.
First one, open right to it. How can local businesses collaborate with the city of Allen to build a thriving community?
3 words, Chamber of Commerce. Glad that we have Kyle Jacobson. I was on the mayor's panel last week in Austin, and I told Kyle that he had a a game show voice, and I asked them what were the prizes in the showcase showdown. I don't know if you got the reference from that, but it was good. No, Chamber of Commerce, all businesses should be a part of it. We have a dynamic business advocacy group led by Shameen. We have great representation down in Austin last week as someone who has been on the chamber. I've seen the job that they do on the local level and also on the state level. So I think that's important. It's all about partnership with the city, school board, EDC, and CDC. Private and public partnerships are great for the city. So those are the two things I'll recommend.
Take a question, Amy.
When did you ask the question again?
How can local businesses collaborate with the city of Allen to build a thriving community?
Well, the great thing about our community, much of this is already happening. And so what we're doing is we're looking at innovative approaches to attract the communities and businesses to our community. And in addition to that, we are trying to be creative in the product that we offer from a commercial real estate standpoint, so that way we can attract those industries that can quickly move in and get their job, with limited obstructions associated with permits and permitting and things like that. So those are some of the obstacles that we need to remove to ensure that new businesses will think this Allen is a great place to be, but not only that, but a great place to grow. And then with the support of the district, as we all know, they are directly aligned with the chamber in developing our students, as we see in front of us today, to be those that will be ready to serve in some capacities to support our industry. So very excited about that.
The next question. What is your vision for redevelopment East Allen, if you could be visited?
Sure. So we have partnered with the economic development in order to help certain businesses on the east side to help with some of the deferred maintenance on their parking structures. We're looking through code compliance to make sure that we provide the ability to make them safe while upgrading. On the east side, it's a little bit of a challenge because it's more of the thoroughfares and our arterial streets that need to be maintained. We have a plan where I believe it's $5 million a year just to maintain what we have, but we have a strategic plan that allows for us to do some asphalt overlay in some areas. We want to help revitalize neighborhoods, working with HOAs. We have a community engagement department, I believe, that does a great job of wanting neighborhoods to be safer, well-lit, sidewalks, and being able to move from the east side to the west side of the city. So I know that planning and zoning does a great job of helping to make sure that whatever is built with the community in mind, the adjacent property owners, according to the Allen Land Development Code, and also with the CDC for trails. I think we have over 88 miles of trails. So there's a lot that's going on behind the scenes that you don't really see on a day-to-day basis. The revitalization is important for that with the help of the city. So much going on, so many good things.
Same question, Amy.
Thank you, Shameen. If you guys did not know, the city of Allen is currently reviewing their comprehensive plan that goes through 2045. So 20 years from now, when you think about that, will all of us be around to be able to see the fruits of that labor? I'm not sure. So when we think about Allen 20 years from now, it's time for us to set a pace to be able to look for opportunities to develop those small areas in the west side and the east side that have not been developed in a creative and deliberate way to basically revitalize neighborhoods, not just throw up a strip center or something that would not really bring unique value to a particular part of the community. And then, of course, the infrastructure support and the continued infrastructure support that the city offers for roads in our cities are important too. For me, Allen needs to be a smart city with beautiful trails that utilizes those trails to offer micro mobility options within our community to get all of us working together in all of this, not being east side, west side, or anything like that at all. It was basically one town, and we're all working, and we're going to vote in the same direction.
So, some broad examples of great. Where do you see the city of Allen in 15 years?
I think I just said that. Okay, I'll restate myself. When I talk about a smart city, this involves a lot of different aspects. It involves technological advances to address safety and crime. But we saw that way we have early notification and quick response relative to anything to protect our city. Now, of course, our first responders are amazing, but innovations are continuing to be driven in this space from an AI standpoint that allow us to be able to identify adverse conditions or behaviors. The other thing I'd like to see is that, as I was talking about the micromobility, if you think about, anybody's ever seen the TV show The Incredibles, and when there's someone trying to get to the bad guy's lair, they use these little micromobility modules. And I keep on thinking, wouldn't it be great to have something to offset some of our road noise and the road traffic that we have in Allen that we all are seeing increase year after year? We better think to use our trails that at one point in 15 to 20 years from now are going to be easy access from my house to the grocery store. So just thinking about those innovations, signage, we talked about signage a minute ago with Tommy about, signage today is not the big billboards that you see or the traditional things that you see when you walk and drive down the roads. They are unique. They are attached to ranking buildings. There's some innovation from lighting standpoint. So those are the kind of things that we envision out to be a smart city to attract the best of the brightest to move here.
Very good. That's another one. So I think that in the next 15 years, we have about 800 vacant acres up along 121 scattered about. I think that's going to be the biggest build out. The ability for us to maintain so we're one of only 7 cities in the entire state that have AAA bond ratings for every rating agency. And so at one point we were number 2, and then cities started kind of figuring it out. So building department, I know Pete Phillips over there, CFO, is extremely excited, and I'm sure Brian Carter is as well, from the school board. The biggest thing I believe is to maintain what we have, attract and retain great city staff that allows us to build on. That's the biggest thing. And also, I think one thing that's coming that hopefully we can continue to reduce the tax rate as we've done for the last 32 years, while maintaining the quality of life, which is important. I know people move here. I recently asked the staff, how many outside entities on state, local, and international have visited Allen in the last year to see how we do what we do? Couldn't give a real answer, and Rebecca's looking at me, and she's shaking her head at Rebecca Weiss, but it was over 100. And so over 100 entities have visited Allen to see how we run our event center, how our police do their job. So it's easy to say maintain, but I think we get better as we go, and we make others better. I think that's where I see us going in 15 years.
Well, I think those are the questions we have. Fortunately, Rich Connolly can make it today. Thank you. Morning.
There we go.
Good morning, I'm Jill Hawkins. My husband and I have been running the business area well north of Wall Street. We started with 35 plus years on landscape and outdoors. And I can't change the kid, really. I've been very involved in the changes. I had the privilege to serve on the board as board chair in 2007. currently also on the Fairview Economic Development and Community Development Corporation. And so I just have a heart of service. It goes way back to my childhood, being involved in different organizations and serving, and thanks to the chamber, it's led up to this. It's going to be interesting.
I'm different than she is. My name is Pat Sheehan. My wife and I moved here 5.5 years ago to Fairview to be closer to our grandchildren. I live in Heritage Ranch. Professionally, I did 30 years in journalism, primarily broadcast journalism, in the state of Connecticut, and worked throughout New England, from Boston to New York on television. When I retired from being on the air, I embarked on a retirement career as an investment advisor. I became licensed and ended up managing for about 20 years municipal pension plans. So professionally, I've been around legislative matters, judicial matters, executive branch matters most of my life. I have never served in elected office. I'm pleased to say that there's no opposition, so I guess the lack of interest of somebody running against me is to my benefit. But I look forward to trying to serve as best I can, and believe that even though I haven't been in elected office, I've served on numerous boards and commissions and appointments, both public and private.
Actually, was assistant town manager and I thought that was really good. What you do, what that
Being part of the economic development for the thank you. We're small, but we're mighty. Thankfully back there packs a great punch, and they'll do well. So I think there's going to be a lot of changes. With the oncoming of Billingsley and the growth in our business development area, and so there will be a lot of opportunity there.
That Billingsley property is going to be very important to the future of Fairview. Specifically to the question, what I think business can do to help is something that Lance mentioned earlier, which was the engagement of people in local government. The turnout in local elections is very low. Everybody knows that. I think that businesses can help to engage better by being an amplification of the issues going on in any community, and to join with the town officials. We have a very small government. It's amazing to me just how few people actually can manage so well to keep our town as advanced as it is. But I think that having the business community engage more amplify some of the issues out there and encourage people into public service would be extremely helpful. Okay. Oh, I was all my life.
One word is to describe your vision.
One word to describe vision in business development, I'd say balance. You always have to balance the benefits of what you're doing with the cost of what you're doing. And so keeping everything in balance is probably the most important thing for any local official, I would believe, is trying to judge, the services that folks are looking for versus the cost that you're asking people to pay. And you have to keep that in balance.
Vision, much to the calling the vision of what our leaders have laid out. And keeping that balance in mind, but there is a vision there, and so I hope to be able to carry that on.
But what vision for this time is that we continue this thing to what it's important. Everybody wants to go. We sometimes can't do what we want to do. At least you know that you listen. Earlier, I was talking about how I worked here over 20 years ago. And I was supposed to be about the city, about the rest of the city. Follow up on the rest. We should continue to do that. Find out the thing. I think I do.
You know, the monthly development is going to be the way business development lives and works. We still hope to have a very natural feel to that. But I think the Fairview community and what we've all feel is that we wanted to maintain the sense of country, closeness, our area, small little area, where
In 15 years, I believe Henry Lister will be back as mayor. What Jill mentioned of the development of the business community in Fairview, again, I'll use the word in balance with the desirability of the residential side of town. Very important, and I think we can maintain that country feeling, the covenant that people have of living in a beautiful community such as we have, and balance it out while we're building on the economic base. Fairview has a bright future ahead, but if you as others might want us to do.
I don't know what I would like to do is recognize you. I'm on my phone back. When he's done, he's an example of how we should be as a leader. We should be. Thank you.
We're all running because Henry wanted us to run.
This one, my. Thank you, Queen. I am the general counsel of NBC7. Also serve on the board. Chief as the incoming chair. We are so excited to hear from the candidates running for school board in our community. So without further ado, I'm going to invite Pamela Saylor and Audrey Stock to the stage, please. We'll have you sit on this side here. Get this up to this. Thank you for being patient. I'll be both on one side, so I have to move the mic. So, Aubrey are running for position 2 on the Lovejoy ISD Board of Trustees. Unfortunately, trustees Jeff Wood and Julie McLaughlin are also running for re-election in uncontested races, so they were not able to join us this morning. Pamela and Aubrey, I'm going to give you each the mic and allow you 60 seconds to give a brief introduction. So you get double the amount of time as everyone else.
I'm Aubrey Stock, running for Lovejoy ISD Position 2. My husband and I have lived in Lovejoy since 2018. We have 5 kids. I have a 5th grader, a 2nd grader, kindergartner, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. So yes, my hands are very full, but full of commitment to Lovejoy. I have served for years through the PTO, district committees. I've attended over 50 school board meetings in the last 4 years. I have a degree in elementary education and in law, which has actually served me very well in effectively advocating for Lovejoy schools and our staff. I recently was able to get a bill through the House and the Senate, carried by Representative Noel and Senator Paxton, to increase our GT funding, because that's all we go for, not one for the big basic allotment that we need. So I'm excited and committed to keep doing what I have been doing at Lovejoy as a trustee. Thank you for hosting and allowing me to speak to you.
Good morning, my name is Allen Fairview, and I'm also running for Lovejoy ISD School Board Position 2. I'm a business owner. I own a consulting company that helps small to mid-sized nonprofit organizations here in Fairview. I am basically what I do is I help them raise money, I help them set their vision, I help them with board development, and I also do grant writing for them as well. And so I'm a mom of 3 kids. My 3 kids go to 3 different schools in Lovejoy. And I've been a volunteer for a long time. I'm a volunteer involved in the community and a volunteer here in Lovejoy as well. For me, I'm just really excited to bring my public relations background, degree in communications to help our Lovejoy board, basically helping out our community and make sure that we continue to be one of the top 10 school districts and also in the top 10 school districts in the state.
School district policy impacts the local business community and what is collaboration between business and education.
And repeat that second part. So for me, I feel like when you have a strong school district, it supports the businesses in the community. Businesses want to be here. Families want to be here. This is where they want their children to go to school. And so when you have a strong school district and you have people working together collaboratively, not only are you going to create future leaders in our community who are going to also hopefully be business owners in our community, but secondly, you're also going to have that unity within the community where people are all very focused on what's important for our students so that they can graduate. Our graduate profile is really strong, and ultimately when businesses and families are interested in supporting our kids, our community is stronger.
What is your vision for
I am very involved, and I really think that with what Lovejoy offers in our community through different things like we have our leadership Lovejoy. I highly recommend that our business owners become more involved in our school districts. You can watch every single one of the board meetings. They're all available online or on YouTube. If you can't make it to the board meeting, at least you can watch afterwards and learn really what's important. So when that collaboration is happening between business owners and our students, we're basically creating a really strong, well-working together community and supporting our kids in the future growth for those business owners as well.
Would you like me to repeat the question? Okay, great. So how do you think school district policy impacts the local business community? And what is your vision for collaboration between business and education?
So I think Lovejoy's policies and all of our programming actually very much support involvement with local businesses. I'm very impressed with, we have one of the first student-run My Community Credit Union student branches in our high school right now that offers practical engagement and experience with business and finance for our kids. I know, having served as the PTO president, our policies allow us to engage with our local businesses and encourage them to support our teachers through different events. And it really can create a lane of communication and collaboration that has been very, very valuable. For me, I see an opportunity to strengthen our legislative advocacy with our local business leaders. Having sat across from Senator Paxton, Representative Noble, Chairman Buckley, I can tell you that what has been so powerful is helping them see that our school districts don't want to just create strong K-12 students, but we do want to create strong future business owners. And that when we have business leaders that are adding their voice, it becomes more powerful. I'm so thankful to see that the legislative priorities of the chamber align with supporting our public schools, because our public schools are a community investment that it benefits all of us for the future. And our legislators need to see that we are building a workforce. We are building successful contributors to our local economy. So I would hope to collaborate with you in that advocacy space.
Thank you so much for that. And for the next question, we'll start with you, Aubrey. Are you supportive of the proposed Lovejoy ISP bond that will be on the ballot this May? Why or why not?
So I was actually a member of the bond committee. I'm very grateful for the long and the very detailed process that our administration went through. I think all of us need to understand that bonds are the mechanism through law that allows us to maintain our facilities. And being a part of that process, both as in the capital planning stages and the bond planning stages, it was important for me as a taxpayer to see that we took that diligence and offered that transparency. I would say that my perspective on the bond was definitely colored by the charge that we were given to represent the priorities, expectations of the entire community. To me, we needed to look at past elections and what our community has said in the past to us about different bond initiatives. And so that has been kind of a difficult road in our community. And so my personal feeling on the bond was I want something that's transparent for the taxpayer. I want something where they can look and understand where their dollars are going. And so we did not get to form the prompt. But I do believe that they provide a taxpayer with the opportunity to choose both the best educational path forward and the best financial path forward. So I would just encourage people or taxpayers to look at it in that light. There are 5 propositions. It's not all or nothing. So I would hope that everyone would evaluate that on an individual basis. And please go vote, because that becomes a data point for our community. Our community needs to show our administration, our board, what they feel about these propositions, because it's not the school's choice, it's not a parent's choice, it's the taxpayer's choice. So I would hope that everyone would go and vote, just like everyone has said, we need bigger voter turnout.
Keeping the same mind. All right. How about social work? Okay, great. Thank you. So I'm really excited. I also served on the bond committee. In fact, I sit right next to Aubrey. We were at the same table. I was really excited about going into the process. I did not have, I was not walking in thinking I was going to be bored or against. I just wanted to have an open mind to the experience. And I really enjoyed it. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about, when we walked through the building, things that you wouldn't think about, like pump stations and, track and field, what happens when heat hits the track, and making sure that tennis courts are not slippery for when not only our students are playing, but when our public is actually playing there too. So there was a lot of information that we received. And so I was thoroughly pleased with the transparency and the discussion. In fact, there were a few times where all of our tables simply said, we don't have enough information. We are not moving forward until we get more information. And I love that as a community being a part of that. So for me, I've done my part. I helped prepare a bond package. And at this point, I believe it is important for the voter to make that decision to decide whether, this being the only vehicle for schools to be able to take care of their capital investment, it's up to our voters in the community. So I know that our bond committee has their work cut out for them, because they are out educating people about this is the only vehicle for us to be able to maintain good roofs, take care of our over 700 air conditioning units, et cetera. So for me, I feel like that communication piece is super important, and I'm really excited to see that investment happening in our community. For me, on a personal note, not as a candidate, I'm looking forward to being able to support the bond. Here's the reason why. To me, if you have a home, you can not take care of it, you cannot maintain it, and 11 years later, which is how long it's been since our last bond, you may have to replace your air conditioning unit, you may have to re-roof, and you may have to do a lot of things all at once. One of the reasons why this bond package is so big, we've waited 11 years. Traditionally, you wait about 3 to 5 years between bond packages in most communities. And so for us, we have a big price tag that's associated with the 5 different packages. And so I'm encouraging people in our community to educate themselves and determine whether these are the different things that they would like to see invested into our schools, so that we can continue to be in the top 10. The top 10 school is in the top 10 in the state, and I'm hoping that we maintain it. Thank you.
There we go.
Okay, one more question. I'm going to put a 60-second time on it. You know it's a doozy. Education. Almost everything education has been at the forefront of state politics this legislative season or session. What are your thoughts on public school funding from the state and proposed voucher programs, and how do these conversations impact the school district?
That was three parts. Okay, so first part being legislation. So for me, I feel like this is just another one of those legislative seasons where our school districts are going to have to weather this storm. It's difficult. There hasn't been an increase to the basic allowance since 2019. That is very difficult. Can you go to your grocery store with your 2019 grocery bill and go get 2019 grocery or 2025 groceries? No, you can't. So to me, I feel like one of the hardest things that our school district and including our board members have to do, they have to maintain a really tight budget. Some of our programs have had to be pared down, and where they are doing a really good job of trying to make sure that they are not hurting the vast majority of students that are hurts to have no funding there. So to me, when we hear things like school choice and education savings accounts or vouchers, to me the part that's really disappointing is true school choice would be if you're in an underperforming school. If your child is in a underperforming school, you would be able to pull your child out of that school and take them to another public school, but that's not what happened here. And truly, the way that this package was put together is not going to help the number of children that really need to be helped. So I'm disappointed in how this has come about. The cap on school vouchers, the income gap is at $160,000 a year. This was supposed to be for helping low-income families that are in a school district that's underperforming. And what it is it's taking them out of public schools and putting them in private. And I do not think that is a good answer. So I think this is going to be something that we're going to have to weather the storm. And hopefully we can continue to have parents like me who bring letters, who make phone calls to our legislators saying, you know what, we're not going to have a men's fire in high school because of these decisions. This is impacting my 4-year-old who's going to be going into kindergarten next year. This is impacting her as well.
I think you've covered it. Thank you. So everything, what are your thoughts on public school funding from the state and proposed voucher programs? How do these conversations impact Lovejoy?
As Pamela said, vouchers are taking the air in the room. I've been advocating in person. I've gone to Austin, and it's disappointing that that has become the focus of the conversation. Is really an initiative that's going to help maybe 100,000 families, and to her point, help those families that can already make that choice and fund that choice. I would say that I've got the question, is it going to cause a mass exodus in Lovejoy? I don't think so, because we are uniquely situated where families who want to make that choice can make that choice and fund it. But I am far more concerned with the continued underfunding of our schools, because right now I have a fifth grader who has 32 children in her class. That is too much on her teacher. That is too much on her. But we are having to weather the storm, and we've had to for the last 5 years. There has been a significant budget cut or instructional programming change to my daughter's education since 2021. And seeing that happen, you are hanging on every word of House Bill 2 right now. You are wondering if that $395 basic allotment increase will get up to 2019 level. I doubt it will. We need $1,300 to get that basic allotment back to 2019 funding level. It's abhorrent as a public school parent to see that money going where it shouldn't be. And so I think for Lovejoy, we're just going to have to keep watching that House Bill 2. We're going to have to be active in advocating. We're going to have to engage our parents, which we have done, and we have made the calls that we have gone. But I'm hopeful that we will see some type of funding increases so that we can go back and look at what we've had to cut and the burdens we've put on our teachers and hopefully make some repairs. But we can't do that without you. We need every single voice. We need every single perspective, calling our legislators and making them hear us. That these students, it's not funny. We shouldn't laugh. They are going to be the future business owners, because we are going to advocate for them and make that happen.
Thank you so much. I would stop and would say that I appreciate your time. You can return to your seats and wish you the best of luck. Not recommended this one for Allen Fairview School Board. The prepared attendance room for place 4, Becca Kinnear and Roslyn Lewis, as well as 2 candidates running for place 5, Amanda Campbell and Kit McGee. First, we'll start with the candidates for place 4. We'll start with Becca. Please give us a 60-second introduction of yourself, and then hand the mic over to Rob.
Okay, well, I'm telling you 30-second introductions. We'll give them a second. Okay. First of all, I want to thank everyone for giving us this opportunity, especially the Chamber, for the eggs and now for the issues. I just really appreciate this. My name is Becca, and we moved here in 1999 when the high school opened. My father was the principal at Lovejoy in the high school, and it's just been such an impressive experience to be part of the district, to graduate from Allen, and now to have 2 sons in the district. And it's just such an impressive, wonderful, amazing district. And I just think the opportunity. I volunteered at all levels, from classrooms to district committees, and put in countless hours. I believe with the escadrille, we're at 246 logged hours on buses with students and 17-hour days with the competition. That's me, and I'm excited to run for place 4.
Morning, everyone. I'm Roslyn Lewis. I have been resident of Allen for 19 years. My husband Anthony and I have 2 children. Denise, 2015 graduate of Allen High School, and I currently have an 8th grader at Ford Middle School. Professionally, I'm an HR director. I head up an HR department with the company Amphenol and SI, located right here in Allen. In that role, I'm responsible for a lot of the things that I plan on making a priority in the district, such as retention, fiscal responsibility, budget, you name it, I've done it, all facets of HR. And I plan on bringing those skills because I think they're highly transferable into this role in place 4. And I look forward to meeting all of you, and I plan to accept your vote.
Roslyn, we'll have to keep the mic actually, and we'll have the first question directed to you. What can realistically be done to address changes brought on by declining student enrollment in Allen ISD, given demographic changes in our community?
So declining enrollment is unfortunately a good and a bad problem to have. Allen is an amazing city. So because Allen is an amazing city, unfortunately, we just don't have homes for new families to move into. It's not the most affordable place in the world to live. We just don't have a lot of families that are able to live in this area. So a lot of families that have been here for years, like myself, if I would have actually left when my 2015 graduate finished the school district, we would have been empty nesters, so we wouldn't have had little people as well. So one of the things that I plan on doing is making sure that we are in the community, we're talking and we're reaching out to a lot of our empty nesters because it's important that they understand that they are a valuable part of our community, a valuable part of our school district. So again, we can't stop our declining enrollment, but what we can do is make sure that we partner heavily with the community so that we have the support and the resources that we need for our children.
Thank you. And question. So I think the beauty of Allen is that we planned for this. We knew when we built the one high school that Allen was landlocked, that it was a land island, and that eventually it was built out. When we moved here in 1999, I remember I was only 16, but I remember seeing the demographics at that time, and that eventually Allen would be built out, and the student population would plateau and slightly decline. I personally know parents of high school friends that graduated with me that are still living in Allen because they love it so much. And Allen has benefited so much from being a family-friendly place, and we still have a vibrant student and young family population. And I think that the best thing that we can do is to continue to make Allen ISD a place of excellence and a place where children and their families can thrive and attract as many young families as we can. But, you know, we don't want that our parents that were there to feel like they're not welcome. We have the Silver Eagles Club, and we have everyone is an Allen Eagle mindset, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
All right, I have to keep going. The next question, 16 seconds or 11. With regard to student access to reading material, how do we balance parental involvement in reading choices while supporting critical thinking and a broad range of learning opportunities?
I think that Allen already has a wonderful policy in place as far as access to reading materials. If the parent has a concern or any sort of question, they are free to reach out to the librarian of the school or talk to a teacher. The first step should always be to contact your teacher of your child. But if an individual parent does not agree with an assigned reading assignment, there's always an alternative option available. So there is always access or ability for your child to have an alternative, but I think that books should also be taken as a whole. These books, especially for assigned reading assignments, have gone through a rigorous process. But as far as library materials go, it has a process that you can go through already. And I believe that it is parents' right and responsibility to monitor what their individual child is. Thank you so much.
Same question.
So I believe in this district, and one of the things that I like about this district, open and honest transparency and communication. I think that's key. Again, if a parent has an issue with a book, I think it's important that you follow the chain of command, almost like in the workplace. Your first point of contact is your teacher. And if you can't get the issue resolved with your teacher, then you move through the necessary steps. So I think it's very, very important that the district, it would be great if there are like advisory groups or committees maybe in place to kind of look at a lot of these books before they're even placed in the library. But again, I think honest and open communication is key. Parents should feel comfortable enough to reach out to their teachers, the individuals who are with their children on a day-to-day basis, to share any concerns.
Thank you so much. Actually, we're going to turn it to the candidate for the now people like to comment. Kick us off, we do a 30-second introduction.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having us. My name is Amanda Campbell, and I'm running for Allen ISD in place 5. I am a mom of 3 young boys, and like many of you in the room, a small business owner. I spent the first part of my career, however, in public service. On Capitol Hill, working for a member of Congress as a policy advisor to his professional staff and House Budget Committee. I've been served with a number of roles in the Department of Human Services and finally as the Deputy Chief of Staff at the CDC. I have deep experience in policy, budgeting, legislative advocacy, and leadership. I look forward to going back to work for our community and our school.
Hello, I'm Kit McKee, and I'm running for place 5, and yes, I have my minutes to say my name. My family and I moved here in 1993, and I'm fortunate to have been through two adult children through the district. One graduated from Allen in 2007, and my other one graduated from Lovejoy, interestingly, in 2012, as the first class go all the way through. So I'm very familiar with other students after the year. For the last 10 years, I have been very active in our school district and worked on several different committees and that assisted the district in various functions. During that time, I was continuing my work as an executive in the IT services area, that I plan on leveraging for the board moving forward.
Thank you, Kevin. We'll start the first question with you. Would you explain
I did. And especially the large, the very large. I think a more important thing is keeping our infrastructure, being the buildings themselves, the things within them, and stay for our children. There's nothing more important than our children's safety and buildings that they are educated in.
Thank you so much. My same question. Did you support the Allen ISD bond last November or July or May?
I did support July, I was proud to do so. Seeing the infrastructure needs that a number of our schools, with extended board elements, are just make work middle school, you've probably seen the 4-inch gap between the wall and the floor that exists. Those are things that need to be addressed for our kids to ensure their safety. But also, I voted because of my confidence in our executive team and their ability to manage the debt that would be taking on in order to be able to make all of these upgrades to our 7 campuses. They're going to be getting a full renovation and making sure that we are not only giving our students the best in the classroom, but
It's projected based on the multi-million-dollar budget shortfall. What government principles will shape your decision-making when budget cuts?
I think principles for me are one that we have to first and foremost
Based on another multi-million-dollar budget. What government principles will shape your decision-making when budget?
Very much like what Amanda said, we must invest. That is absolutely. So I totally agree with that. What we have to look at is a couple of years ago, we faced what I call a nuclear option, where we had to shut down 2 schools. It was a heartbreaking decision for anybody that's part of the district, and also part of the board. And I believe they made the correct decision. Moving forward, as the demographic change, we're going to be faced with several issues, I believe, within this next term. We have to proactively drive the vision into our school district, into our school. We cannot have a campus that is costing us $12,000 per student, or another one is costing us. So, my priority will be working with our district and working with our experts to drive that efficiency over the next.
Thank you for that, Kit.
20 seconds. There's a lot about the blue board curriculum. Is it the right fit for Allen ISD? Yes or no?
Yes and no. Yes. And no to the English language.
Yes and no. You would have a great career as a lawyer.
I took wrong.
You're doing a good job. Move on. Is that the right fit for Allen?
Unfortunately, I don't think the answer is yes and no, because we already have blue bonnet in our schools. My learner brought home blue bonnet last year, the other day. And so I think there's a good point, we have a diverse community, we always need to make that, or keep that front of mind as we are looking at it. And really, I was still thinking.
A lot of the issues facing our school board, certainly. Thank you so much. This concludes our Q&A. I appreciate everyone who has come from the chamber. Also, all the candidates are running for elected office, whether they are opposed or unopposed. We wish each of you success with the remainder of your campaign. Please return to your seat. And I'll see